Dice Tower. I'm Camilla.
I'm Mike Delicio.
I'm Wendy Yee.
I'm Joey Evans.
We're going to be taking a look at Raising Robots. It's going to be a new game from Nauvoo Games, who brought us the Reckoners, first of all, right? This is not the Reckoners.
No.
It's nothing like the Reckoners.
No.
Doesn't even have dice.
No.
Reckoners has lots of dice. So not Reckoners.
I reckon it's different.
Wow, that was nailed it. Good job. That was a Yee joke.
Are you sure I'm in this review?
It's where I'm sitting.
I'm not
Delicio's
so
out.
sure I'm in on this
It's
anymore.
where I'm sitting.
We're going to be checking out Raising Robots in this game. You are young inventors, and you're creating some robots. You've got kind of a tableau building, combo-tastic system that you're building here, right? What am I saying? Wendy's going to show us how to play.
Raising Robots is a simultaneous action game that takes place across 8 rounds. On each turn, players are going to flip over 2 of these energy cards. This will determine what level their 2 actions can be. And then they have a handful of 5 actions. And they can choose any of these 5 actions to place underneath. And of course, it'll be simultaneous reveal, so everyone reveals at once. And then they will add cubes to this main board up here. And they'll add cubes based on whatever actions have cubes above them. So some of these cards have cubes, some don't have cubes, some have double cubes, and some actually are a 2 times multiplier for cubes that are out here that someone else has placed out there. So for example, I'd have 2 cubes of upgrades, and I would have a single cube on fabricate. Now players will go through and they will run their entire board. This is the action order of how they run, and they'll do all of this simultaneously. And they will go ahead and they will add the value of whatever actions they have over here to whatever cubes are up here, and then they'll just move straight across. So if someone has placed cubes up here, they can take the value of that action at the cube cost. So we'll go in order. We would look at the upgrade and we check to see, can we do an upgrade action? Are there cubes there? Are there cards here? If there are either cubes or cards or both, we can take this action. Currently, this is at level 2 for us, so we can take 2 single 1 actions if we would like. So what this means right here is that we can do an upgrade action for 4 resources. I can spend any of these resources that I want on that except for the energy. Now, what an upgrade means is that you can take one of these little circles off of anywhere on this action board, and as you can see, it actually upgrades that action. So this says now I can fabricate at a +1 energy every single time I take that action. You set these off to the side and you can hold on to them as long as you want, or you can place them on a card. If you look, there's a top benefit and a bottom benefit on the card. You can only take the bottom benefit if it's got a nice little matching upgraded symbol on it. The assemble action is another one where you can also split your energy. If you look at your robot cards, these are the cards you're trying to build. There are costs in the upper left-hand corner, but there's 2 options. You can either spend less energy for more resources, or you can spend more energy for less resources. On to design. Design over here, design, fabricate, and recycle do different things, but they all work the exact same way. On these ones, you never split energy, but instead you calculate your full energy. So right now we don't have any energy in design, so we wouldn't be able to take this action, but we do have energy in fabricate. So we look over here, we have our 3 on this card to the left, and we have the 1 here, so we have level 4 energy. What that means is that we will take everything that is level 4 and below, and we will activate them. So starting top to bottom, left to right, we have at least 1 energy, so we will gain a green or a brown, and then we have 4 energy, so we'll gain a brown or a red, and then we get to move over to our cards. Now this card is not upgraded, so we cannot do the bottom action. However, we can do the top one. The top one is 4, which we have enough, so we can trade in 3 resources to do an upgrade. So players continue down, design, fabricate, recycle, and then they put their worker back over here on their little card. This happens to be their inventor. Everyone gets a special player power. This can also be upgraded. You initially start with the top power, and then at the bottom, you can gain something more. As I said before, the game takes place across 8 rounds, so you'll just keep doing this loop with these cards over here for your action selection 8 times. At the end of the 8th round, you're going to add up points. Now, points come from the robots that you build on your board. That's what these stars are here. There's also ways to get points throughout the game. For example, if I took this 7 action, I would get 1 point plus the 2 upgraded points right there. So I'd get 3 points, and that's just kept track of by your little star here on the board. And then finally, there are these pink cards over here. Now, these pink cards are endgame scoring, and what they say is depending on however many of a certain objective you've reached, you receive this many points at the end of the game. Once again, all you do is add up those points, and the person with the most wins. That is how you play Raising Robots.
And there you go. That is how you play Raising Robots. Like I said, kind of a tableau builder, right?
It gives very Wingspan vibes. Of like you're going to go through your rows of cards.
Yep.
Right.
Okay,
Because as you trigger that action, you have more
All
to
those
do. But
things.
it's definitely more involved than Wingspan.
Yes.
Right? Yes.
More
Definitely.
simultaneous.
It is more simultaneous. How did you guys feel about that simultaneous play of it?
Well, I think it was the way to go. I think the downtime would have been
Oh,
an issue.
yeah, that would have been
Yeah.
unplayable.
That would have been
Yeah.
very, very difficult. I think that was, the right way to handle this type of game where
Yeah.
you do have interaction, you do have things that are going to affect other players. Do it at the same time, you're still able to handle that stuff. It works well.
I do feel like with the teach that doing that first round not simultaneous really helps. Because
for sure.
even me coming back to it after I've stepped away for a little bit, going back into it, I'm like, I kind of want to make sure that we're all doing this correctly. Like
Sure.
I'm doing it correctly, you're doing it correctly. And so I'm okay with that first round,
Yeah.
not simultaneous.
I think other side of that equation, we have the bad word multiplayer solitaire, right? And that kind of gets a bad rap. I thought that this handled that well in having that shared energy pool that
Right.
you're contributing to, because it's a positive player interaction moment.
And I like the fact that you're trying to read other players too to try to figure out
Right, what are they gonna
What are
play?
they going to do? And you
Yeah.
sometimes, especially when you think, okay, I know they're going to play this. Like, why would you? You need to play the other one. Like, I don't want to do this.
Did you see
wouldn't
this
want that.
move? And they're like, oh,
Yes.
no.
Some people get
Sorry.
really angry about it.
Or they put it on the action on the thing that doesn't add cubes. And you're
Yes.
like, wait, you were supposed to put on the big action so I could have cubes.
Right.
Yeah.
Or the card that I hate the most is that the 2 times card where you get
Right.
all the cubes out there 2 times, but you only get 1 energy. But all the energy other people put out there is going to be worth 2, and nobody puts it.
No one does
Yeah.
it.
Oh, I feel murderous.
Have any of you played with the 2-player variant?
I have.
No.
Okay.
Yes, you have.
Did you
I
did you
have.
like it? So
Yes. Yes.
in the 2-player variant, they have the 5 action cards. 2 are face up, which means you know they're not going to happen, and then 3 are face down, and you just flip 1 for 2 rounds, like 1 each round for 2 rounds, and then you reshuffle them every 2 rounds.
Right. So the point of it is you have a little bit of information about
Sure.
what they might do because there's 5 cards, one of them, and so
Oh.
you're getting more information. Remember that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Joey
you
remembers
liked,
it
you liked it.
vividly.
I did.
Joey really liked that.
I did.
What,
Okay,
what
yeah.
Joey would like to tell you about it
Great.
is I really enjoyed
do.
that. I think that's actually became, with multiple plays, one of my favorite ways to play. I like the higher player counts because I think it doesn't add a whole lot of time. There is
Yeah.
that simultaneous, as well as you have the more energy out there, so you really can have some big power moves. But I like the 2-player variant. I think it's really smooth and easy to run once you get it. The rule book's a little wonky. Also, once you realize it's there, because in the rule book it's not in a very obvious spot. So I
Yes.
played a 2-player game without it. I was like, this is really not good. And anyway, in a future reading, I was like, this fixes all my problems. So I really think once you get it down, it amplifies that experience to point that that's one of my favorite ways to play now.
And since we're addressing player count, it may shock you to know that I've played this solo as well.
Whoa.
I have, and it actually works very well.
Stepping out of your comfort zone.
It's a very good solo game. It actually
Okay.
still has a way to kind of simulate that interaction point that you
Okay.
would have. So, yeah, it's a very good solo game.
That's
Is
good.
it similar to the 2-player variant?
I have not played a 2-player
okay.
variant, but I assume it's
Neither have
handled
I.
a similar way. The way you're talking about the cards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just have like 3 stacks of cards, 3 opponents.
Yeah.
No, it's not quite like that.
Yeah. Anything else before we kind of jump into final thoughts here?
Well, obviously the artwork. You have to talk about the artwork. How
Tell us
cute.
about the artwork and your final thoughts, Joey. Thanks for volunteering.
I'm not. Okay, I will go first. The final thoughts.
Yeah, I'll let you go first.
I think the artwork is really the linchpin on the game for me. I think the artwork is great. It's cute. You find the robots. Now, as you get into the game, the engine building aspect of it, the artwork is secondary on finding that engine that you can make go forward. Now, for me, this is comparable. I think Bot Factory, of course, initially I thought about that, but then later I am thinking Wingspan. I'm also thinking Earth. You know, I see a lot of that. So I wonder, where does that land? For me, this is a good game with great artwork. That's
Okay.
where it lands for me. And again, it's a good game. Whether or not I think I might gravitate to a game like Earth over it mechanically, but I think there's a breath of fresh air because of how bright it is, how fun it is, how great it looks at the table. So I'm giving it a 7.5 for this. I do enjoy it, and the artwork is just endearing.
Nice. Okay. I'm coming in higher. I really like this game. It's going to be an 8.5 for me. And what kind of pushes it into that excellence is how much it reminds me of other games, whether it's in the mechanisms or the feeling it gives me. But it stands apart in the way it brings those together. I feel like I do in Earth when I play that, and it's that constant endorphin drip of every turn you feel powerful. And I really like that. It's the wingspan or like the gizmos where you're triggering that engine. But ultimately, I just love the world that it's building here and the way that each turn you're trying to strategically plan what you're going to do, and you're kind of on that hook for that simultaneous reveal that just brings a really good arc to the game every single round. And I very much enjoy it. I enjoy it hitting the table, and I agree. I think you kind of alluded to this a little bit, is sometimes it can be a little bit grindy of a teach. You really have to slow it down. But once people get it and kind of get through that 1 or 2 rounds, the symbology is something I'm usually really hung up on in these kind of games. I think it's very smart symbology. Right. It's once you get 1 or 2 and kind of understand what it's going for, the game kind of, the cards teach themselves. And I think in something that is so symbology heavy, that's unique. So for me, Raising Robots, it's at 8.5.
It pains me to say this, but I'm with Joey. I'm also giving this a 7.5.
Hurts him a lot.
Yeah.
He's clearly upset.
It's a good.
It's a terrible
game.
game.
It is a good game. It's one that I am recommending. I'm prefacing with that. I do think it's a lovely production. I think the art is great as well. But I do have a little bit of a concern over the replay value of it, because it's a really, really crowded genre. This tableau building, engine building type of a thing. You've already mentioned a couple of games that I like significantly more, right? Now, is that the fault of this game? No, but I can't review it in a vacuum, right? In my mind, am thinking, will I choose this over Earth? No, I wouldn't. Would I choose it over other games that have a similar feel of playing cards, building something up? But the game in and of itself, if I do try to put it in a vacuum, is a satisfying engine building game. I really do like the combo, that combo aspect, right? That's what you want in this type of a game, is feeling like you can pull off really great turns.
Right.
And it does give you that, okay?
Yeah.
It is a little bit more, like you said, difficult to teach than it should be for the experience you're having, but that goes away after the first game. So 7.5, recommend it. Have a couple of little qualms that keep it from going higher.
Okay, I'm going to give this an 8.5. I'm with Camilla right here. I definitely highly recommend this. I think that this game has a lot of clever things to it. I think the way that you track your resources is very clean, having all of those just in a line. All the different actions, like it's such an easy flow. You're just like, I'm just moving across this flow for the actions. You go in a circle. I love that. I also love that the cards are worth higher or lower amounts of resources because of the energy. I love that if you don't have quite enough energy because everybody else hasn't played the cubes out that you want, you can't quite get that energy you want, but you can spend the batteries. Like, I think that there's so many clever ways to mitigate this stuff that kind of frustrates me. Even the player interaction of revealing the cubes, I get annoyed with that sometimes, but also you just get a player power that doesn't require that you depend on other people, and then you don't even have to worry about that. Like, that's any small little struggle that I have in this game, I feel like there's something in it that fixes it for me.
That juicy mitigation.
Yeah. And so I'm super happy with this. I'm happy to play it. Now, when I think of Earth is an easier teach. It's a little lighter. I feel like this has more crunch to it. And this I feel like I'm going to explore longer than Earth. But I also don't know if I'm going to pull it out as often. So once again, not in a vacuum. Like I gave that a 9 or a 9.5. I gave this an 8.5, but they're both so good. So very much love this.
Absolutely. Well, there you go. 2 seals of approval and 2 seals of excellence for Raising Robots there. Thanks for joining us here on the Dice Tower. I'm Camilla.
I'm Mike DeLisio.
I'm Wendy Yee.
I'm Joey Evans.
Go be innovative.
Innovate.
Raise robots.
Necromancer. No.